Hey guys.
Hi. Hi, Web Summit. You guys are having a great time, huh? Woo.
So,
It's a pleasure to be here.
Jenna, Alfie, we're looking at the cult of personality, and we're talking about the cult of personality. So, but for you, your brand is your personality, and your personality is kind of your brand. How much do you think about your brand in everyday life?
I mean, okay. I don't. I don't really think about it too often because you're being yourself essentially for a living. So, if anything, I wake up and I realize that 1,000 people have tweeted me hysterical things that day, which is pretty amazing. Or people are incredibly kind to me or nice to my dogs. So that's about the level that I think about it on a daily basis.
That sounds great.
It's really nice.
I think I'm pretty similar. So I film every single day of my life, and I'm just being me. The more I try and change my content or change things up to be what I think people would want to be, then I think that would change everything about what I do. So for me, it's just about living my life, making videos that I enjoy making, and if people want to watch, then that's cool.
Is it difficult, or has it become difficult to stay natural the bigger your brand and the bigger your reach has got? Do you find you're sort of fighting that, or?
I feel like you do hit a point where you're like, you think your friends are watching, or it's just your parents or something.
I hate friends watching. I hate that.
And you're like, I think I have a good understanding of who's consuming what I'm putting on the internet. And then you do reach a point where you're like, wait a second, I do not know 800 people. And you sort of freak out. But at this point, I think we're pretty used to staying ourselves and who we are on and off camera. And that our audience can tell that as well, because they're incredibly smart. They know when you're being fake and phony, and they will call you out on it.
They tell you.
I think that's the best thing. I think that's the best thing, because
keeps
the
you
audience, so if we're on like TV or something, there's no way to give feedback. If I was to start changing or being different, or Jenna was to start doing something that people didn't like or wasn't natural or normal for her, the audience are there and they're going to let you know. And I think that's really, really important.
And how about the flip of it? So how does the genre and your medium, if you like, affect your personal life? Because it's a very personal engagement you have with your audience. It's sort of almost one-to-one, the way it's presented. But does it then erode your personal life and your everyday life any more than it would for a traditional sort of entertainment?
I think it's definitely possible. When people are doing things in their personal life specifically to film it and do it all the time, I think that can take a toll on you personally. I think the relationship that we have with our fans is very different, because when you meet them in person, they know just about everything about you, and they forget sometimes that you don't know them back. So just in the nature of being popular on a democratized platform sort of blurs that line. But at the same time, they're also even more respectful of us in our lives than a traditional celebrity, because they do know us. And when they see someone crossing a line or like going to your house or doing things that are really uncomfortable for you, they'll be like, don't do that. That's not right. We care about that person. I don't want you to do that. Yeah. So it's different and similar and better and worse all at the same time.
Do you find, Alfie, you have to sort of draw the line somewhere, or have to be mindful of where the line is between private life and...
I think it's constantly, for me, it's just a learning process that I'm on, that I'm never going to be on top of fully, because we're carving a new path. We're walking a path that nobody's ever walked before. We're doing things for the very first time. So if there's mistakes made, we're the ones that are making them. And I'm out here filming a 25-minute video every single day of what I get up to during that day.
Yeah.
It can't get more personal than that. I film my family, I film my friends, I film in bed when I wake up, when I go to sleep, I film everything about me. So, I mean, I'm putting it all out there, and I want to do that, so I know that there are...
And you talk there about sort of, you are essentially part of a generation who are breaking down the boundaries or carving the path. You're the first people to do what you've done within as YouTube stars. Does it frustrate you that you're maybe not seen in the same light as personalities in more traditional media?
No, I don't mind.
I don't mind it either.
I like it. I like that people don't get it. I love that people come and like, wait, so your job is making YouTube videos? I love that people don't know.
Yeah.
The curiosity, just blowing people's mind that they're like, how can that be a job? I love that.
Yeah.
And it's changing, right, in that attitude presumably is dissipating, and people are much more accepting and understanding now.
Yeah, I mean, there was a time definitely where people in traditional media really frowned on us, and I think Alfie still deals with some of that shit. But people are sort of coming around to it and taking us more seriously, which is, it's really nice, because although we don't care, you know, if people understand what we do or like what we do, it is nice when people are just not as snarky to you about it.
I think people just don't get like for me, for example, and for you, they see, I don't know, a 10-minute video.
Yeah.
And they think that's it. Oh, okay, cool, 10-minute video, that took 10 minutes to make. And I'm like, no, but you don't see everything that's gone in behind. You don't see the meetings that have gone in place. Like, I'll probably spend 7% of my time making videos.
Right.
The rest I'm just straight in meetings or on the phone.
Making it happen.
Yeah, making everything happen behind the scenes. But people see a cool pop-up shop in London or a podcast or something like that, and they just like, that's amazing, I want to take that content in. Okay, now I'm done with it and I've watched it. What's next? But the work that goes in behind it isn't what people see. And I love that. That's my favorite thing about it, is that you don't see the effort that goes in, but it obviously at the same time.
I guess, and traditional media firms and media outlets have sort of realised rather belatedly that you were sort of competition, if you like, for audience. Have you got to a point now where traditional media realise that you don't necessarily need a TV show for you guys? You're not in it to move on to a different medium. You are in the medium you want to be in. You know, you're on the platform you want to be on.
I mean, I live in Los Angeles, California, so I went through the nauseating stage of people being like, you're great, we'd make a great TV show with you. And I'm like, I don't want to do that. Like, the beautiful thing about what we do is we wake up every day, we're our own boss, whatever you want to make, we make it. And we get to do whatever we want, and we have the say as to what it becomes.
Yeah.
We don't answer to anyone. So to take all of that creative control and just give it to somebody else is
And
like,
you probably get more views than 90% of TV shows.
Why would I do that? So it was a little exhausting, I think, years ago to sort of try and get people to understand that just because you switch over to a different medium doesn't necessarily give you more credibility or make you better at what you do.
It gives you less control.
Yeah, it just gives you less control.
Now you put it like that doesn't sound so great. So an important part of your success has been working with brands. For many YouTube personalities, that's a really important part of what you do. When deciding what brands to work with, what are the key factors you would look for?
No, so for me, I'm kind of at a stage now where I'm growing my own personal team, and I'm employing a lot of people at the moment, and I've got a new company launching in a couple of weeks, and I'm basically proactively and reactively looking to work with brands, but just more directly with me. And I'm looking to be more involved in the meetings, be on the end of the phone calls, and like if anybody's sitting here and you want to get in touch, like the emails now, from now on, straight up land in my inbox.
Right.
And I'm ready to really, really be much more involved than I've ever been to make great partnerships happen, great brand integrations happen, and just some really, really cool, fun projects. So I think for me, I'm looking to be much more involved than I ever have been previously, and that's started now.
And I think for me, in terms of like my main channel, I'm a little different than I think what the YouTube norm is at this point, where it's our audiences used to be angry at us for having a brand deal. They would see that as like selling out, and they would see that as a breach of trust. Whereas now people fully understand, almost to like a meta extent, where they know that you're making money, how much money you're making, and that brand deals are very lucrative for some people. On my main channel, I don't work with brands at all. And I think that was just to try and never breach that level of authenticity. But for other things like our podcast or Twitch stream, the relationship that we build with brands is hopefully a longer partnership than something short. Like, we're not trying to, throw a sponsor in there and earn a buck, because the viewer's eyes are more important than money in your pocket, and your audience knows that. So when you pick them carefully and they're there for a longer amount of time, the more, I think, that beneficial that is for you and the viewership as well.
And I think we're both a very very lucky stage in our careers where we don't have to pick and work with brands that we don't want to.
True, very
we're
true.
both working with only very specific brands that are going to benefit the content that we're making, that the audience are going to like and engage with, and that we can work with closely to make our content better by working with them.
Right.
And we're just fortunate enough to not have to do the deals that we don't want to do just to be able to earn a living, which we're very fortunate to be able to do. But
and when people are starting out, that's what a lot of them have to do at this point, because AdSense is not always, it fluctuates all the time. We don't know. So there is no shame in doing that. I think at this point, people understand you need to earn a living. And I think it's really cool when people do it. But I think at this point for us, it's like we're looking to build longer partnerships or things that align really well with our audience before we even consider it.
Yeah. And as you say, you're looking at long-term sort of collaboration almost.
Right.
Which is quite a nice position to be in, and which I guess leads into one of the. Where do you think the form, or where do you think the medium is going to go next? YouTube and that sort of instant video. I mean, when you started in 2009, you had no idea it would get to where it is now. Can you predict or point where it's going to go?
Alfie, what do you? I'd love to know what you think.
This one covered. No, I think the most exciting thing about everything we do is that it's never been done before, and you can't predict. And we're just going with the flow, bringing our audience along with us to whatever platform, whatever it is that we're doing. Like, yes, we create YouTube videos that get a lot of views, but we're also got big followings on every other social platform that we use. The audience isn't there just sitting waiting for just videos. They're there because they're following Jenna and her life and what she's doing and what I'm doing. So I don't think I'd ever want to try and predict or even plan the future. I think it's more just making sure that everything I do right now is the best for me and my audience at all times, and just taking them on the journey with me.
Yeah, I mean, I echo that probably 1,000%. When new platforms come up, and it gives us opportunities to engage with our fans in different ways. And I think that like live content will continue to grow. I think Periscope was a good example. Twitch is a great example of how audience are really looking to engage live with people, because YouTube is sort of one thing. We can watch it at whenever we want, in our bed, in our pajamas. But when you're interacting with someone live, it is a different experience. So as weird and full circle as it is, like living life, now we're posting videos, now we're back to live. I do think that people will continue to enjoy live content as the platforms evolve around that.
Do you actively go looking for different platforms, or do your team go looking for different platforms, or do they just... Is it an organic process where you discover it because it's cool, and then you try it, for example, or have a go at a different way of doing a podcast, or a different way of filming yourself?
For me, everything creative, everything that comes out, like I still edit all my own videos, I still film all my own videos. Everything that directly touches the audience is still very much just me. And as soon as I would start like hiring other people to do that for the kind of content that I create, I think that's when it will take away from being me. And I'm not looking out there to go and be the number one on every platform. Like, if I could press a button tomorrow and grow my audience 10 times, I don't think I'd press that button. I just like the audience that I've got, everybody that's really, really following me for me, and I'm not looking to go and be number one on every platform or create the best cinematography or all of that. I'm just doing me, and if people want to watch, then they can watch.
I like to try new platforms, and I usually find them from people that like tweet them at me or send them to me. They're like, get on Snapchat. I'm like, what's that? I mean, obviously now I know what Snapchat is. But I'm willing to try anything that gives an opportunity to engage with people in a fun and different way. Something that I've noticed is probably not just me that's noticed it, but as soon as people are making money on a platform, it becomes obviously less and less fun because they know people are getting paid. So like Snapchat, when it first started, was incredibly fun as a user because it's ridiculous. There's like
so random.
And now there's people making money on there, and it does just like a couple notches, it takes it back in terms of fun. But when things are in that like Wild West period of like anything goes, I jump on stuff because I'm like, this is really fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how about yourselves in social media is very often instant gratification, or it's certainly seen as instant gratification. How do you plan a career around something that is geared up for the moment, or do you plan a career for that?
I mean, I think
I never planned a career.
I was going to say, Jenna, like, we've been doing it since '09. It's got, like, what you're doing it's not an instant thing. It's not a bubble that's going to pop. Like, you've been doing this for 9 years. Like, this is real. This is proving that people who say, oh, when's the bubble going to pop with us, 15 minutes of fame or whatever, like, that's not what it is. These people are there to fully engage with you in whatever platform, whatever you're doing.
So you don't worry about where you should maybe take yourself as you grow older as a person and as your as your life
definitely
changes.
Definitely things have changed, yeah, for sure. And like I said, I've got like a new company launching soon in a couple of weeks that is looking to do some really, really cool stuff, and everything is being much more directly with me, and I'm expanding the team to work on different projects outside and invest in a couple of things as well. But I'm not planning my content 3 years in advance and trying to strategically grow my audience and stuff. No.
I mean, don't get it twisted. Every day is terrifying. When you're being yourself for a living and you like every day you have to wake up and make it happen, it's completely terrifying. So, I mean, no, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't have any plans. All you like do is what you have control over. No.
As it were.
No, it's wake up and I
that's
can't believe I still get to do
wrong,
this.
When people strategize and companies make too detailed a plan of this is exactly going to happen, and then when it doesn't go to plan, they're like, but we planned it so well, why did it not do that? And that's why it didn't do that.
Yeah.
And having now done this, are you ready to sort of take it live? Do you think you can do the global tour after this?
I would miss my dogs too much.
Same, I'd miss my dog. I just like being with my family.
Yeah.
Blame it on the dogs.
They're really great.
Thank you very much, Jenna Marbles,
Thank you.
Alfie Deyes. Thank you.
Bye. Whoa.